Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here. I am with John Fitch as always on Mondays for Mixed Martial Mindset. And before we got going, we were just kind of talking about how crazy everything is right now and how it's more and more difficult to decide what type of media your children digest, right? I mean, there's only so much you can do in a day. We've seen these school systems become corrupted, and then we've seen this ultra, and I don't even like to call it liberal, I call it a transhuman agenda. We're going to get to that with the main story
it's
here.
Evil. Like the messaging and everywhere on all the shows, all the news shows, it's evil messaging. I can't put it any other way. Even letting them play games is risky because you can't control what commercials come on when they're playing the games or they're playing things. And it's all nonsense. Like I have constantly have to stop whatever's going on, shut things down and explain to them, this is not normal. This is not okay. They're trying to brainwash you. They're trying to make you think that this is what everybody does. They're trying to make you think that this is okay. You don't have to accept this. You don't have to be okay with this. You're not a bad person for disliking what they're trying to tell you have to accept.
And I think that's really important because more and more we've seen a push to uninstall traditional family values from our society and instead install this idea that children are a part of the community. And if you question anything that's attached to diversity, you're a bigot. You're a racist. You're hateful. In fact, right now, Laura Logan, and one of the other stories that we're going to be featuring here today, Laura Logan is trending because unhinged, mainstream media personalities are attacking her because she dared to go against the grain. This is a long-time war reporter who worked for CNN, catches a job at Fox News, says the wrong thing during the COVID-19 84 nightmare, dared to compare Fauci to Mengele, and for that, cancel culture, in that conservative media we're all supposed to love, right? They kick her out. She breaks a story yesterday that I believe has a lot of validity. I haven't confirmed it myself, but I've seen the media attacks that they are now handing social security numbers to the illegals that are coming across the border when they're shipping them off to wherever. And because of this, we're going to just show you one of these tweets, mainstream media hacks, and they are nothing more than hacks, I assure you, say things like this. Laura Logan gets dismissed because she spews unhinged conspiracy theories now. But you have to remember that she was a respected war correspondent in her day. She represents the mainstreaming of extremism in media and reveals the path by which washed up journos can make it. Let me just say this, buddy. You're not even a washed up journal. I have no fucking clue who you are. I had to go to your little blue checkmark page to find out that you work for the Huffington Post and you hate the Proud Boys. And then some of the other things, John, that were being said about her.
Hack. Absolute hack.
Absolute hack. Total hack. And the other things that were being said about her were absolutely repugnant. For instance, one of the things.
What was it that she said?
Well, let's play it. Let's play it right here. Let's do it live.
Let's listen.
Questions, because it was quite satisfying having all the answers. However, they said they could not make a decision at this time, and they would let me know. That's true. But they asked me two very interesting questions when I went there. They asked me if I would be willing to take up arms to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. Isn't that interesting? They seem to have forgotten that part, right? And then, among the many interesting parts of this is you look around you and, what you have to remember is that they don't actually believe in citizenship. And now, when people come across the border illegally, and I have this confirmed from Border Patrol agents who are actually physically doing this, they get given a social security number.
Can't reveal that. You're not hearing that on Fox News. You're not hearing that on MSNBC. You're not hearing that anywhere. And
They're
it's
all
not
on
just
the same side, people. There is no left or right.
absolutely not. So because she's saying this, now she's a right-wing extremist because she wants free and fair elections like Lake does there, sitting down, running for governor in Kerry Lake in Arizona. They're bad. They're extremists. No, you're a media muppet that's helping oppress this country by demonizing a woman who was literally gang raped in Libya when reporting on what was going there. And those are the other disgusting tweets. People act like because that happened to her that she lost it mentally. That's total bullshit. She continued on in her journalistic career in the mainstream for years afterwards. Of course she suffered PTSD from something like that. Can you imagine being a crowd of people in a foreign land and then you being attacked and gang raped? Yeah, that's going to cause some problems. But because of that, what she's telling you here, that she says she has factual confirmation they're giving social security cards and numbers to illegals, she's unhinged. Let's continue.
They get assigned a social security number when they cross. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of that. And if you really want to know when the cheating starts, it's long before you get to the polls, right? I mean, think about it. It starts with the census. It starts with counting illegal immigrants in the census. How do you determine how many members of Congress you get? Population size, right? So how does, California has all these delegates at the Electoral College. And you don't just get more money from the federal government for your increased population. You don't just get more congressional candidates representing you. What else do you get? You get an opportunity to pad the voter rolls with people who are being completely and utterly exploited. And there's one thing that I've learned as I've been investigating this is they love euphemisms, right? They love euphemisms because it's all about democracy, and if there's any form of voter security, that's voter suppression and racism and white supremacy. And if it's the other side, anything we can do to get more people out to vote. But actually, when you talk to the canvassers, they'll tell you that when they go into the low-income areas, sometimes they're predominantly Hispanic, sometimes they're black, sometimes they're white. But that's where they find the most fraud.
Oh, so now again, you talk about voter fraud, you talk about demographics, you talk about gaming the census. You're a bigot, you're a racist, and you notice the media has latched on to this great replacement theory, right? Because you do have many Democratic operatives, politicians, and media personalities talking about demographics changing due to illegal immigration, all right? Openly talking about it. I'm not warning you about that because, honestly, I believe it just gives them the excuse to rig the elections further digitally and by stuffing the ballot boxes. It doesn't necessarily correlate to more Hispanics or more blacks in this country voting Democrat. That's Johnny nonsense. That's a perception, all right? But the real great replacement is us by machines. Us by AI. And when I say us, doesn't matter if you're fucking Hispanic, Italian, Scottish, African. It doesn't matter if you're German, Brazilian. It don't matter. It's all of us. And that's why we're going to also focus on this story coming out of Davos so people
if you ain't got $10 million in the bank, you're poor and you're going to be a slave. That's where they're going. Your job at your whatever tech, whatever thing, it's easily replaceable by a robot. Like, you're a midwit. Your midwit jobs, they're gone. They're going to be gone.
You're seeing it now. You're seeing it now more and more and more. And
they'll start with the fast food. They'll start with the driverless cars. They'll start with that stuff. But like those middle management positions, you don't need people. You don't need a person to do those jobs. You can get it done with an algorithm. That's what they're going to turn to.
And at the same time, they're indoctrinating our youth into this new smart society, smart grid, automation, and robotics. It's the second annual.
They're also making these kids impotent with highlighting useless people. The gamers who are on YouTube, the people who don't really do anything, don't build anything, don't create anything except content. they're artificially inflated with their numbers and views. They're artificially inflated on their popularity. You can't tell me that people are actually watching this amount of these people and like care about what these people think. It's fake. They want you to think this stuff is popular. They want you to think this is what everybody else is doing and this is what you should do. And that is going to make you completely powerless in the future. You spend your youth thinking that these things are where you're going to go and where you're going to make money and how you're going to live. And then when you get there, it's not going to be there. It's all fake.
Well, you know, props to Charlie Kirk right now. I know that he is on tour talking about his new book exposing the college scam. And more people are realizing that their degree isn't getting them a high-paying job, isn't propelling them into success, and instead is putting them into debt and enslaving them into a system of servitude for a mid-level job that promises nothing for your future.
You might not even be able to get there. That job might not even exist. I do podcasts on Saturdays with a group of guys called Rule Zero, and one of the guys is a writer called Aaron Clary. He's an economist, and he has a bunch of books out there to help people better plan their future. One of them is How Not to Become a Millennial. And he breaks down what college courses are actually worth taking, which ones you should actually put your time into. And most of them are just a waste. It's just a grift for the college system to steal money from you and put you into debt and make you subservient to the government forever.
And again, to bring up Charlie Kirk once more, he's discussed on this tour that a lot of conservatives have pushed back that he dare to question a college education because a lot of these mainliners...
There's no such thing as a conservative. There's no such thing as a conservative. Okay? It's two different flavors of the same brand of feminism.
Listen, I always
That's
say
what it is. The conservatives, the right wing, the Republicans, they're just 15 to 20 years behind the liberals and the Democrats. There's no difference. They're just moving. They're in the slow lane. That's all. There's absolutely no difference between the two.
Well, I would agree on a lot of levels. The rhetoric may be a little bit different, but when it comes down to the nuts and bolts, how many people are really opposing the conflict in Ukraine with Russia? It's a handful, all right? And you notice one of the largest voices out there, the one that gets the most media attention, is Marjorie Taylor Greene. And to go back to this labeling that Laura Logan was discussing, she dared to say that she was a proud Christian nationalist. That means that she's a Christian. And if you look up nationalism, that basically means your country first. Mm-hmm. She's a bigot. She's a Nazi. Yeah. I saw a headline.
How dare you put God's authority first and then care about your country second? The horrors, the absolute horrors.
Well, what did they try to do? And not try to, they did it. They tried to equate the term Christian nationalism with Nazis, okay, or white supremacy. And then
Nazis were socialists. They're socialist eugenicists. Okay, you know what else is eugenicist based? Abortion.
Not only that, they weren't Christians, okay, especially at the very top. A lot of these people were very much into the occult and seeking power. So then they want to take Nazism and then they want to equate that with the Ku Klux Klan, because one of the things that the Ku Klux Klan did hide behind was Christianity. Okay? So they make these logical fallacies jumping one to the next to try to make you believe an
and they totally leave out huge things like how Southern white Christian women were the ones who really ended slavery.
Talk about that.
They're the ones who pushed for it. They're the ones that did the most of the legwork. They're the reason why there was a push for abolition of slavery. It was Southern white women, Christian Southern white women. Sorry, be more specific.
And again, people can't grasp that everything is about emotions, race, and bigotry. But I want to say it again. They're trying to control the language. They're trying to oppose anybody that challenges their quote-unquote great narrative, which is on behalf of a great reset agenda, as they bring things like this into the forefront. So this is the second year they've been doing this, and they just launched their smart toys competition in cooperation with the World Economic Forum. Now, I've done a lot of work on smart toys in the past because you can go back to when they had the first Barbie doll that had a camera and a microphone in it, and there were privacy concerns then. This is before the era of the Amazon smart speaker and Siri and the Google Assistant that now are everywhere.
That's funny. That's a meme. You know, it's like, oh my God, I'm afraid they're gonna tap my phone and whatever, and then they go to the future and they're like, Siri, like, here's all my personal business.
Here it is. And look, I was so against those for the girls, and they were getting them for Christmas, and they are constantly, they're dependent on it. That's what they do. Siri, tell me this. Google Assistant, tell me this. And they don't understand that they are giving up a large swath of their privacy that is being collected.
And their voice. What's the likelihood that their voice is being recorded and that's going to be manipulated sometime down the road? We already have deep fakes with video.
And audio too.
How easy are those deep fakes going to be with audio in the future?
They
can make you say anything.
That's already here. That the audio is actually a lot easier. You can actually look up stuff that they made Barack Obama say over 5 to 10 years ago, and you can also look up stuff that they made Joe Rogan say that Joe Rogan never said. Now, those aren't accompanied with video, but they are accompanied with audio. They have that.
You don't need. People are so dumb though. You don't need that. All they need to do is hear it once. We go, oh, that's his voice, and then that's their opinion, and their opinion is going to be set forever. I heard it. I know what I heard.
The deepfake thing is a legitimate concern. I know that a lot of people are speculating whether or not that Biden video with his eyes bugged out, where he, in like a 9-minute video, they showed you like the cut of like 60 seconds. I think we played it here last week. But there's a longer version.
That whole thing is weird. He never got answers to that one thing where he was outside and the microphone disappeared and shit. Like,
I think that might have been a trick.
They just moved that along. That was the weirdest.
I think that one might have been, some camera, just coincidence. Still did look bizarre. This looks worse because this is in high definition, inside, shot by the White House. His eyes are this big, and maybe it's a deep fake. Maybe he's just shot up with legal amphetamines or illegal amphetamines. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that. But
I got some new stuff we haven't even heard of yet.
But what I do know is that they are pushing kids further and further along into this virtual age, robotization, automation, the metaverse. And when you look at the categories on this, I want people to check this out because it's a vast deal. All right, these kids, 7 awards for 7 winners, right? Digital badges, an opportunity to engage with the World Economic Forum. This is Davos, the chance to display the toy at the Museum of the Future in Dubai. And Dubai is one of their major New World Order city models. They love it. They love, and think about that for a second. They love the Saudi royal family. They love oligarchy. They love rule by bloodline.
China. If a leader is swooning over China, get rid of them. Take all power away from them. They deserve no power ever.
We talked about deep fakes, and we're talking about leaders that love China. I saw a deep fake yesterday of Justin Trudeau as my man Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber. And, it's at the scene. Like, there's a few scenes there, but one of the scenes, it starts with the scenes with them in the tuxedos. And I almost retweeted it out, but then I just kind of went, oh, I love that movie. And it's kind of ruined that I got to see Justin Trudeau's face on something that I love. I get the joke, but it still hurts. And it hurts so bad. And it's going to hurt worse and worse and worse as this technology becomes more and more efficient, cheaper, and easier to use. So let's talk about what the competition categories for these children are. Okay, and again, this is bringing you into the virtual age. This is the movement to get rid of human teachers, to go to telelearning, to have a curriculum that can be doled out by the World Economic Forum, the UN, and globalist voices. So here we go. Educational, toys that make learning fun and engaging. We've got creative play, toys that promote imaginative play. And they've got all sorts of little dolls that, again, record things you can talk to. You could go all the way back to like the Tamagotchi pets, and they've gotten more and more. Learn to code. You got to love that. It was racist to say learn to code. You were a bigot if you said learn to code.
Well, no, it was okay to say learn to code to like minors and other people who had to work with their hands. But when people started saying learn to code to journalists who were losing their jobs because no one listened to their lies or cared about anything they wrote about, that was racist. That was a problem. You couldn't tell a journalist to learn to code, but you could tell a blue collar worker, a mechanic, a coal miner. That was fine.
So the next two that we're going to talk about, I want to really dive into. Here it is right here, guys. Best play companion for children. A play companion. Again, the movement to get you to interact with something that is not biological, that is not human, that you consider a companion. So again, not a device, not a game, not a tool, not something you come home and play with and then put away. No, a companion. Not your teddy bear that you can have imagination land with, but something that you actually relate to that goes beyond your imagination.
Have you seen the movie Ron's Gone Wrong or something like that?
No, tell us about it.
It's actually a really good movie. But basically they come up with these robots that are basically like your cell phone. They become the kids' best friends. They take pictures with them. They are on social media and whatever, and everybody's got one. And the poor kid can't afford it, so he ends up buying a broken one. But it's a good movie, but it's also scary because that could very, very easily be the future. You know, we already have a cell phone problem. What if they do come up with some little cool robot that all the kids want, like a Cabbage Patch doll? I had a Cabbage Patch doll.
Well, I mean, I would go back to like, you know, the analog days when these toys were a little bit more interactive. Everybody wanted a My Buddy doll.
Teddy Ruxpin.
Teddy Ruxpin was the next one because you could actually put a tape cassette in Teddy Ruxpin. He would read you a story, and he had the animatronics where his eyes moved and his mouth moved. And now that's commonplace for most toys. You don't need to put a tape deck in. In fact, you can hit a record button, right? Or you can put in a micro SD card sometimes into these devices, and it will play you certain things. All right, and that's why these companions are really an extension of the smart speakers we were just talking about. Okay, and that's another category. So these are all different categories, guys. I want people to understand that smart speaker for kids. Smart speakers explicitly designed for children. How do we get them so comfortable with never having any privacy and being reliable on an AI that we create? And then there's the most innovative, which would talk about artificial intelligence for kids. That's right there, the most innovative take on AI for kids. This is World Economic Forum. This is happening right now. This is the Dubai promotion. This is globalism, I promise you. And by the way, shout out to Charlie Skelton for sending
Have you seen the Saudis plan to make the sand piercer?
Talk about it.
Have you watched the movie Snowpiercer?
No.
Okay, so it's a post-apocalyptic movie about some super rich billionaire who builds this super long train that goes around the world globally, never stops moving. Global warming caused a ice storm and the whole world is frozen. So everybody has to live. Everybody in the world's population is on this train. It's like 500,000 people on this train. Yeah, it's an interesting number. And the poor people live all the way in the back, and they have to eat. All they get is this little protein gel bar, and it's made out of bugs. And like the people in the back start a uprising, and they have to fight their way to the front to try to take over. And it's actually, you know, it's a silly movie, but it's actually kind of good. It's not bad. I watch it. Go Snowpiercer.
Okay.
Watch it. You'll have a good night. It's fun to watch. There's some good action and whatever in there. Some good characters. But the Saudi Arabia is going to basically build something that's like 15 kilometers wide and like 150 kilometers long, and it's supposed to be a habitat. Basically, it's a city where it's just one long wall in the desert, and they're hyping that up as like, oh, this is the future. This is how we're all going to live because it's going to help keep people away from, you know, the environment. It's going to keep the environment clean. I'm like, that's just a big fancy prison cell. That's all that is. You think the rich people are going to live there? You think Bill Gates and um, what's his name, Amazon douchebag is going to live there? You think
Bezos,
Elon's gonna live
baby.
there? Bezos. You think those guys are going to live there? Nope. They're going to be by themselves on their own islands in tropical places where there's no poor people.
Well, the other thing that they're pushing is, again, this virtual universe. When you talk about no poor people, I want everybody to understand this isn't a real person. Okay? Let me say it again. This isn't a real person. And we've highlighted some of these things on the show in the past couple of years. These virtual creations that are getting more and more photorealistic, like this one, that are social media influencers. The rise of South Korea's virtual influencers. Forever young, beautiful, and scandal-free. And there are videos. This is not just pictures. There she is right there. Obviously, the skin is a little bit more virtual, but they're getting better and better and better. There's yet another picture. And there it is again. These are false realities that are no longer taking a biological entity and showing you their best life or something that's edited to make them seem smarter, richer, better, or good looking. All right, and it's not that anymore. It's just, you might as well just be zeros and fucking ones and come on into the metaverse, because that's where you're really going to live your best life, John. And that is the push. They want this more and more and more. And you talked about how basically they're promoting what's popular. And there's all these view counts on these social media influencers and these video game players. But I would also argue, you know, they may be inflating those numbers. There is no doubt that they are suppressing my actual numbers. I want to show this again for people to understand. But
I'm on restriction on Instagram for posting funny memes.
And that's a visual restriction. Okay?
People can't share my stuff. They can't share my pictures. People can't recommend me. If somebody finds my stuff by accident somehow and they try to follow me, they'll warn you. Be like, you sure this account posts questionable stuff or untrue memes all the time? You sure you want to follow them?
And the Epic Times recently got censored by Twitter. All of a sudden, they were a harmful site like BitChute is, like Band.video is, like Infowars.com is. I could continue. They're the harmful site. And luckily, they actually fought them and got that away. But that doesn't mean that they aren't going to delist their posts, push them down in the algorithm. And I want to reiterate this again. You know, every time I get one of my videos embedded into a Gateway Pundit article, there is a huge, let me repeat this, a huge bump in views. So take a look at this, everybody. Just yesterday, I did the Russia just pulled out put out an ad beyond parody. I don't think you've seen this yet, John, but we might have to play it here again because it's over the top. You can't even believe they put this ad out. But you can see about 10,000 views there, 9,557. They're going to go up. If you look at my regular views, 468. Yep. I did all right here with like 1,200. When I embed the YouTube videos in the same articles that sometimes get me 70,000 views, I haven't broken 5,000.
Yep.
Do you think that's this is a straight embed? You think they're not suppressing me? They just took off yet another video without suspending me last night. The Shade the Motion Picture Watch Along. They said medical misinformation. And again, there's no COVID 1984 information in Shade. You can't even say the vaccine word at all. I said it here. I'm hoping that they don't boot me.
You might. You gotta be careful.
I just said a word. I didn't say anything about it. But they're gonna come and get me. So that's one of the ways they're doing it. And then just the suppression of reality on a mass level. We'll get to that in a minute. I don't know if we'll play the awesome video that's going viral that you sent me because Salty Crack.
Yeah, I sent you two videos. Yeah. The ATF one, the second one, that is the most beautiful video I have seen in I don't know how long. I just had to share it with you, and hopefully we can get to it.
So I watched it yesterday, and probably the reason we won't play it is because it's another content creator. But it's so funny because last night I'm in a group text with Militich and a couple other guys. Militich sent the same video, and I said, I actually watched that earlier.
Which one was it? The guy showing the drag stuff?
No, the other one. In fact, we're going to show you the drag stuff, but we'll probably do that on the uncensored part of the broadcast at Rockfin and Rumble, just in case, because we don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. But why don't you describe the Salty Cracker video? Because essentially you had what was an FBI agent doing
ATF. It was ATF agent was illegally going to a person's house, asking to look at his guns. That is a direct violation of your Second and Fourth Amendment rights. That is illegal. It's 100% illegal for somebody to do. This guy was carrying a gun also. So you have that intimidation factor. Some strange man comes to your house, claims to be the ATF with a gun, asking to look at your guns. Well, the homeowner wisely said, hold on, just wait right there. Went inside and called the police. Called the police and said, hey, there's some guy out here with a gun saying he wants to look at my guns. Can you come here and do something about this? So the police come out. They don't know. The ATF didn't contact local police because they're not supposed to be there. It's illegal. They're not supposed to do that. So the guy walks up and says, show me your hands. Show me your hands. Pulls, he's got his gun on him. He's treating him like a perp. He can see the gun on him. So he's treats him like a perp, and then they end up putting him on the ground. They cuff him, and he's like screaming like, "Oh, I have kids! Don't tase me, bro! Don't tase me!" And then he ended up tasing him. It was just, it was so beautiful. It felt so good to see.
It was pretty wild because, like you said, he's
breaking the law. They should have arrested him, throw him into jail. That's illegal. You can't do that.
He fights the cops on so many levels. Where if he had just listen to them, put his hands up, he wouldn't have ended up on the ground. He may have been cuffed for a little while.
You're making a mistake, bro. I'm a federal agent. You're making a big mistake. Okay, get on the ground. That's fine. Get on the ground. The cop did a great job. He did a wonderful job.
He did. So did his partner.
I kind of wish he would have shot him.
No, they did tase him, right?
Made a move for the gun.
Didn't they tase him? I'm pretty sure they tased him.
Yeah, they tased him because he was like making it hard for them to arrest him.
Yes.
Like once he went on his belly, he was like, "Oh, I have kids. I'm married. I have a condition. I have a condition." Like, yeah.
Wow.
He went from tough guy to like really fast.
I hate to laugh at people, but again, he's doing something.
I have no problem laughing at a federal agent breaking the law. I have absolutely zero issue laughing at that.
Again, you had an authoritarian breaking the law on behalf of the state, trying to take away your Second Amendment.
Yep.
Trying to violate
Second and Fourth Amendment.
Trying to violate your Fourth. I'm saying taking away your Second Amendment because you're not supposed to have these guns, or we need to check up. But just the fact that
you just wanted to check on them.
Oh yeah,
no, that sounds like an infringement to me. Thou shalt not be infringed.
But once again, we live in this society where words no longer matter. Reality doesn't matter.
You can change definitions now all the time.
We change it all.
If you guys ever get in trouble, you'd be like, "Well, hey, I changed the definition of the world." So that's not what that word means anymore. So.
So, speaking of that, we're going to show Bill Clinton telling you what a recession was back in December 19th, 2000. And get ready.
If anybody wants to watch that video of the ATF guy, just go to my johnfish.net on my Twitter. Go through my timeline. You'll find it.
So let's play this one here. Here's Bush waiting to be inaugurated next to Clinton. Remember, Clinton and Bush, best buddies. Best buddies.
Mr. President, what do you think about a recession?
Well, a recession is 2 quarters in a row of negative growth. I don't think we're going to have that.
So a recession is 2 quarters in a row with negative growth. I don't think we're going to have that. Let's play it again. Bill Clinton, darling of the left.
Bill Clinton, he's cool Reagan. He's cool Reagan. W is dumb Reagan.
W was terrible, like the boy idiot president, and then you wonder how you transition from that into where we are today with Biden, and it's actually not a huge leap, right? You just kind of had this guy that was saying things, and he was able to read off a prompter, and he was really not well liked, and his vice president.
We got to stop terrorism if it's the last thing we do. Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive. Unbelievable.
Well, a recession is 2 quarters in a row of negative growth. I don't think we're going to have that.
So there it is, Bill Clinton saying that. Now, I want to play what Brian Stelter and Paul Krugman had to say about the recession. You talk about a cartoon and a clown show. Get ready, because here it comes.
Laureate and economist, a distinguished professor at the City University of New York's Graduate Center, and a longtime columnist for the New York Times. Welcome to the program. Thank you for coming on.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Can we dispense with the recession debate real quick? Are we in a recession, and does the term matter?
Does the term matter? Does it even matter?
Did you see what he did after it? Did you see? Watch him again, because when he says, "Does it even matter?" Watch.
Jackass. What a jackass.
Can we dispense with the recession debate real quick? Are we in a recession, and does the term matter?
Here we go.
Somebody needs to smack the shit out of him.
No, we aren't, and no, it doesn't.
So we're not in a recession, but it wouldn't.
Not a recession, and it doesn't even matter anyways, guys.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Not even a little bit. So wait, it gets better. It gets more cartoon level. Let's continue.
I mean,
One sentence. That was it, huh?
They hate us. They hate
it.
us. They think we're the stupidest people ever, and they hate us. Oh man! Stop putting up with people who freaking hate you. Would you in your daily life, if anybody talk to you like these guys do, would you tolerate it? Would you tolerate this? Would you continually go back to these people for information and like help or anything? No, chances are you'd probably punch them in the mouth.
Which will be terrorism eventually, guys, because words are going to be terrorism.
I would love Brian Settler to go to like some blue collar workers and bring that attitude and talk to them in a condescending manner like that. You poor and can't feed your kids. Does it even matter?
And again, so they're giggling it up. He's telling you.
I took my kids and my girlfriend, 2 adults, 2 kids, to fast food. We went to a burger shop, a local burger shop here. $75 for burgers and fries and 2 shakes.
Yeah, we're there. I mean, listen, not only gas, but I've seen butter. I used to get a 4-pack of butter less than a year ago for $2 on sale. That's $2. Now, if it's on sale, it's $3.50, and if it's not, it's $4. That's not 8% inflation. All right, that's not 20% inflation. On the butter, that's 100% increase from $2 to $4. It's a doubling. Do you get it? This is the reality that many of us are living under. Everything costs more and we're getting less. But a recession, it's not. And if it were, it wouldn't matter. The craziest thing here is that Stelter will admit that the technical definition of a recession is those 2 quarters. And then Krugman at the end says it's not the technical definition of a recession. And none of the real experts, John, think it's a recession. Let's play it.
None of the usual criteria that real experts use says that we're in a recession
The real experts.
right now. And what does matter? The state of the economy is what it is.
See, it doesn't really matter because the state, it is what it is. He's talking
The
like...
economy is going to be the economy. Why don't they just say that about the weather? Why don't they just say that about whatever global warming shit they're talking about? It just is what it is. The weather is going to weather, guys.
Jobs are
Does it
abundant.
matter?
Though maybe the job market is weakening. Inflation is high, though maybe inflation is coming down. What does it matter?
No, inflation isn't coming down, by the way. He goes, what
It's
does
not
it
coming
matter?
down for a very long. I don't think it's ever coming down.
No,
We're closer to an all-out crash than we are to a recovery.
Absolutely.
Whether you use the R word or not.
Certainly, the White House was trying to encourage reporters to use the technical definition.
So...
Technical definition.
The technical definition.
The real meaning of the word.
Guys, again, the technical definition, just like Bill Clinton told
jackasses.
you. So here he's telling you they were encouraging the technical definition. Then he starts talking about his feelings. And like I said, Krugman's going to come back around and say it's not the technical definition. That's the kind of double speak that you're supposed to endure when you watch CNN.
But certainly, many are using a broader definition. So this is going to go on for a while. And I feel like everybody's playing their roles the way you would expect them to play their roles. What should the media's... Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that this is especially vitriolic. I mean, I get, I've been in this business for a couple of decades and get lots of hate mail and see stuff. I've never seen anything as bad as this.
Yeah, because people are hungry. People are behind on their bills. People can't get medical care. They're angry. And they're angry people like you won't acknowledge that we're actually in a recession. And listen, again, I'm with John. I don't think it's a recession. I think we're talking depression level and them moving into an economic collapse that is pre-planned so they can have their digital currency, blockchain, CBDC, social credit score system. And that's why we continually talk about it here.
The determination of a lot of people to say it's a recession is above and beyond anything I've ever seen.
Our determination, not the facts, our determination to just say it.
What do you think is driving that? Just partisanship and polarization getting worse and worse every year, and thus this?
Yeah, it's partisanship. People want it. It's the Biden recession. They want their Biden recession. They're going to have it. Never mind the fact that that it in fact is not a recession in any technical sense.
Not a recession in any technical sense. These people are liars. They are liars, folks. That's what they do. Before we go over, and I want to play this clip about drag queens on the other side. I think it might be a little too racy for YouTube. There's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple of things I did want to hit on. Once again, China said it would shoot Pelosi's plane down if she travels to Taiwan under U.S. fighter escort.
Controlled opposition bullcrap. She's one of their stooges. They said that to cover her. See, she can't be making deals and getting backdoor deals from China because they were going to shoot her down.
Well, they're saying that she's going to go, okay? They're saying that they're not going to be intimidated.
Yeah, because it's all fake. It's a fake drama. It's a fake drama to give her credibility. Her and Biden are getting money from China to turn us into more of China and to have more control over us. So, yeah, China fakes it.
And once again, we talk about the how do I say this? Their excuse for why they need to control us. And it's always overpopulation. It's always climate change. Too many people doing too many things. I highlighted this on my show earlier, and we're only going to go into it really quickly here. But that's bullshit. All right? So here are the amazing spike maps where you can see who lives in the United States. The higher the spike here, folks, the more people live there. And if you look on the East Coast line by New York City, that's the most densely populated. If you go over to California on John's End, you can see a couple of the big spikes there. You notice that the Midwest to the west, pretty underpopulated, even though they want to act like we're so overpopulated. Yep. Now, what's interesting...
There isn't an overpopulation problem in the world. We have a waste problem. We have a lot of food waste. We could feed everybody in the world easily. But we have a massive food waste problem. We throw away like 50% of the food we have in our country.
So one of the things that I highlighted today is that this study clearly says that the entire Earth's population can likely fit within the 5 boroughs of New York City standing next to each other. So not on top of one another. We could fit 8 billion people, John, in a space that's a little bigger than that red circle in New York. Now, let me zoom out for everybody. That's New York State. That's a giant state. Let me zoom in. The red dot at the bottom is where they say they can keep 8 billion people, not 330 million. Okay, let me repeat that. Not the size of the United States. The size of the entire world can fit into a physical area the size of a dot in a vast state in New York. Forget about the rest of the country, and they want to make you believe you're the problem. Meanwhile, one of the reasons that I highlighted this is that
the thing is they can't control that many people. That's why they want to reduce the population. It's too hard to control that many people, and when you have that many people, you can't lie to them because people get pissed off, and then you have French Revolution type shit happening.
So guys, again, you look at this. This is space junk that fell over the weekend. This is China's space junk. Guess what? Didn't hit anybody, didn't kill anybody, didn't hurt anybody. It's not just China's space junk. There's some Musk space junk. That's some NASA, SpaceX space junk in Australia. That's a huge part. Guess what? Didn't hit anybody, didn't kill anybody. Now, by their own accounts, again, because we aren't overpopulated, they say that there is only a 10% chance in the next decade with all the falling debris from space junk that one person is killed in the next 10 years. So over the next 10 years, there's a 90% likelihood not one person will die from space junk. That's how overpopulated we are. All right, guys, Before we go over to Rockfin and Rumble, I do want you to check out johnfitch.net. John, tell people what you're doing over there. Tell them about John Fitch Knows Nothing and more.
Go to johnfitch.net, sign up with newsletter. I do consultations for fitness and other things. I have another podcast that I do on Saturdays called Rule Zero, where we talk about intersexual dynamics of men and women. Sunday nights is John Fitch Knows Nothing. I review fights whenever possible, and I talk about other topics whenever I can too, when we get time. Do some free consultations sometimes. So check those things out. And like I do these Learn to Fight videos also. I put on Rockfin on Fridays, and they go up on YouTube on Monday. And the point of those videos is to show you that you're not as safe as you think you are. But also you need to control your emotions, and there's no reason to fight somebody in public. It's really stupid. And you're much better off getting that out of you at the gym. If you want to fight, go to the gym, do it for real, like do it with people who know what they're doing. If you're getting emotional and fighting in public, only bad stuff is going to happen to you. You're going to get hurt, or you might hurt somebody else severely, and you're going to have a lot of serious legal ramifications. So get to a gym and train. Learn how to protect yourself.
And what we're showing here is just a recent fight in New York City. One punch knockout. Guy does a little dance and then literally picks up his entire body and throws him down. That's one shot in the middle of the streets of Manhattan. Another great reason to not start the altercation. Get away from the altercation if it is started with you. Or
you don't win anything. You don't win anything. The guy who knocked the other guy out, he might have been in the right. The other guy might have offended him or said something or stolen something from him even. But everybody's got him on film. They're going to arrest him. They know who he is. He's going to be, charged probably for assault. He may go to jail for a long time. He may get sued and lose his wealth that he worked hard for. It's dumb. It's really not worth it. If your life's not threatened and in danger, there's no reason for you to fight. Go to the gym and fight. Your job is to create space and get away and be safe and go back to your family. There's so much fun stuff to do in life. Like I had the series that has come out, like the one that came out today, and the next couple are like ones that happened at bars. It's like, man, you're in a fun place. You're there to like have fun with people and talk to girls and like have a good time, man. Like, why are you trying to fist fight somebody? Go to the gym. You're a child. You're a little child.
I agree 1,000%.
Thank you.
And if you want to see this confrontation with James King and Californians about drag queens and whether or not children should be at these shows, you know how we feel about
white liberal women, man. I don't know what's wrong with them.
Well, we're going to play it on the other side. Again, we're on YouTube.
Okay.
We're extremely censored here. I'm already been demonetized. You want to support the broadcast, the links are down below. You can buy me a coffee. You can become a premium subscriber over at Rockfin, where we're moving to. Just so you know, I give it all away for free. We are 60,000 plus here. Okay, 60,000 plus. It's $99.99 for the year or $9.99 a month. If you are a subscriber, by the way, you can get Alex's War for only $4.99 on the Rockfin platform, a discount. We reviewed that. I thought it was a rather excellent film, really a Rorschach test. But again, we're going to Rumble and Rockfin, where free speech lives. We're also on Podbean, YouTube. We'll see you on the flip side. Remember to support